Good morning, folks. This one's going to be a doozy. So, if you've got people with sensitive ears or young kids or any of the like around, I can't guarantee that there might not be an expletive dropped here or there in this one, because let me tell you, this is a doozy. I'll give you a second to clear those folks out or stop the video or whatever so they don't hear it. And then you might be able to continue it when they're not around. So let's get into it now. I have been trying for about the past week to exercise my constitutional Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. I've found a good deal on a long rifle, on a long gun. The gun happens to be in a state of which I'm not a resident of. So I go out. First of all, I try to purchase the gun. Nobody's there. Go back a second time. The person that does that isn't around. So finally get to where I can purchase the gun. Okay. So I go through the process, and in the state of which I'm a resident, there is a waiting period, but that waiting period is waived because if you have a concealed carry permit. The concealed carry permit, which if anybody's went through it, they know that you have to give fingerprints. It's a deep dive into your background. It's not the simple, just basic background check. I mean, they really dig deep into you, make sure you're okay. Then they issue the permit. So in my state, if you do not have a concealed carry permit, there is a waiting period to purchase any kind of firearm. Okay. So, being as how I found this deal the next state over, I go over, and in the United States, you're legally allowed to purchase long guns in a state that you're not a resident of. It's just the dealer must abide by the state of which you are a resident in. Okay. So I go to purchase this gun, and this has been about five or 6 days ago. No, actually, it's probably been longer than that. But anyway, I go to purchase this gun. So I give them my information. I give them my concealed carry permit. Law of my state says that any waiting period or whatever's waived. Well, since this state is now a constitutional carry state, doesn't require permits, they no longer recognize my concealed carry permit, so I have to wait. Okay, that's the law. I get it. So 7-day wait. 7-day wait is today's the 7th day. I call the particular place. I talk to somebody, ask them if everything's okay. I'm ready to come pick it up. Say, come on and get it. I drive the required distance to pick it up. And they tell me that I have to wait until after 4 o'clock this afternoon because it's not technically been 7 days. Some kind of technical bullshit. Okay? I mean, really, people. I've been trying to exercise my constitutional right to keep and bear arms for a week. Okay? I'm not a criminal. I'm not a felon. Never been convicted of any crimes. I'm a legal United States citizen. I'm not going to harm anybody. No harm, no reason for harm. Okay? I'm legal, and I'm trying to be legal. But here's what I want to get back to, okay? So I'm going to go out at 4 o'clock. I'm going to pick up my long gun, and, if there's not some other kind of hiccup, and it'll be okay. But it's very frustrating, especially after what happened in this last election. Why don't they make voting this hard? Why don't they make voting where you have to pay all these taxes and buy permits and do deep background checks and do everything else to exercise that constitutional right? Why is the Second Amendment the only constitutional right where people have to go through 9 million hoops, jump 8,000 hurdles, and then still possibly have to get lucky before they can exercise it? Either that, or it costs you a small war pension because of the taxes and fees and permits and this, that, and the other that is added to it. It's horse shit. You should be able to go into any gun store, any pawn shop, any person that deals in firearms in these United States. And if you're not a felon, if you are not a criminal, if you are clean and you come back, especially if you've been through the deep dive of a concealed carry permit check, you should be able to get any firearm you want. Well, I can already hear liberal heads exploding. Boosh. I can hear it. Well, but firearms this and firearms are dangerous. Well, voting's just as dangerous as firearms, if you ask me. Firearms in my hand aren't a danger because I don't plan on using a firearm except to hunt or to defend myself or my family against a lethal threat. That is when my firearm will be used. Or, well, and target shooting, of course. I enjoy target shooting. So that's when so a firearm in my hand, a legal, non-criminal United States citizen, is not a danger. It's a tool. It's just like putting a DeWalt drill in my hand, or a skill saw, or a table saw, or an impact wrench. It's a tool. It's a tool that I will use when I need to use it. When I don't use it, it'll sit locked in a cabinet, or in a shelf, or in a cabinet, just like my other tools. So people on the left, we talk about equality. You want equality? Let's get some equality in our Constitution. If we're going to have permits and taxes and fees and all this other horse shit to try to exercise as one right, let's do it for all of them. Let's make people pay for a permit to go to church, to exercise their First Amendment. Let's tell people they can't plead the Fifth unless they buy a permit to do it. Let's tell people they have to quarter our military unless they opt out of it by buying a permit. It's horse shit. And it's not what our founders intended. These are God-given rights. God-given rights that are not to be infringed. To not be infringed. People say, oh, taxes are just impediments. No, taxes are pricing poor, underprivileged, and these so-called disenfranchised communities out of being able to exercise a constitutional right. Much like a voter ID law that everybody's so against, they say does that for voting. So let's just do it across the board. If you're going to vote, you got to go have a background check, fingerprints, picture taken, all that good stuff, pay permits, and let's just do it across the board. Because in my opinion, voting is much more dangerous than a firearm. If you get something out of this, or you think there's somebody that needs to hear this, share it, get it out, like it. People with our viewpoints have to support each other, and we have to get the word out, because we're not being pushed on social media. We don't have corporate backers. We don't have mainstream backers. So any content you see, I don't care if you like the person or not. If you think they've got a decent message, share it. That's what I do, and that's what I'll continue to do. Check my socials. It's untelling if the page will be there or not with the social media purge. Try to keep folks updated. They're down in the description box. But this horse shit with the Second Amendment's got to go. I mean, it's got to go. It's a constitutional, God-given right, and it shall not be infringed.